So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. And on today's video we're actually on the last ride on the 2021 Triumph Speed Twin, and we're going to head out and tell you about the Speed Twin, how I've got on with it over the last 10 days, my final thoughts, likes and dislikes. So welcome back folks, and the Triumph Speed Twin, how have I got on with it over the last 10 days? This bike's about to go back to Triumph tomorrow, so I just wanted to come out and give you my final thoughts, likes and dislikes. So as with all the Bonneville range that I've tested recently, the star of the show is definitely that parallel twin that's in this bike, and that's the 1200cc high torque motor. Same motor that's in the Thruxton, but it's just so buttery smooth, and the sound note that comes out of the exhaust is just beautiful. With that, the slip and assist clutch is absolutely super smooth, so easy to change gear, no effort whatsoever, a huge positive from the engine. The brakes on the bike have been absolutely superb, with them being the Brembo M50s. No problems with stopping power, although I did find the rear brake just a little bit intrusive with the ABS. Ergonomics on the bike, seating position very upright. Seat is a little bit slimmer, I would say, than the Bonnevilles, and it's a little bit more sculpted, a little bit thinner. On a long journey it's not that comfy, to be honest. With most bikes you can get aftermarket comfort seats and things, but yeah, I do find this seat a little bit skinny on the rear end. Now, I've had a couple of comments on the channel regarding a few things actually, and one was the lack of centre stand on the Bonneville range, the current 2021 Bonneville range. Yeah, I can see why you would need a stand, obviously to oil the chain and a little bit of maintenance and things like that, but I think most modern bikes nowadays have only got a side stand, and that's mainly because A, it's a weight saving, but B, also you can get paddock stands. I've got about 3 in my garage at home for various different widths and of bikes and things. One thing the bike is not short of is power, and doesn't matter what gear you're in, the actual bike pulls like a train. Other things I like about the bike, the clocks, obviously from the T120 and the Thruxton, really informative, very analog. You've got the 2 digital sections, give you all the information, everything you need to know just about the bike. The bars are nice and thin, so if you are commuting or filtering through traffic, even with the bar and mirrors, it's not wide at all. I have one downside, and that's just me personally being very tall at 6'2", is the bike does feel a little bit small to me, and it kind of feels like the street twin in a lot of ways, with the tank being quite narrow where your legs are. It's not something that would put me off the bike, but definitely I like to see more of a stretched out bike in front of me and a little bit more substantial. So that's one of the main disappointments that I've had since riding this bike. I was expecting it to be more like the T120, just a little bit sportier, but obviously it is the sportier Bonneville. But on looks alone, it does look beautiful. Having ridden it and ridden all the other Bonneville range, with being a taller rider, I would go for something like the Scrambler 1200 XE or XC. Now, I've got the XC on the channel in a couple of weeks time, and I'll have that for about 10 days as well, so it'd be good to compare that between the XE, which is the more off-road focused and a little bit taller bike. Gear shift's not a problem on the bike. Obviously you've no quick shifter up and down, with it being a modern day classic, but like I say, it's really smooth. Great engine. One of the best things about the Bonneville range is that parallel twin engine. Beautiful. Switch gear on the bike, yep, I find it very easy to use. So the only negative being there's no cruise control or an option for cruise control on this bike. It would have been nice to, as I said in the previous video, to include cruise control on all of the 1200 range, because I think it would benefit from it. Certainly I would like it on the bike. What else? Oh yeah, somebody made a comment yesterday, I think it was, on the channel from the first ride and spec review, and they're from India, and they were obviously mentioning about the heat from the engine in between their legs and their thighs, and they were struggling a little bit with the heat. Well, I'm in UK, obviously it's winter, so it's, you know, 9 degrees today, not warm whatsoever, so I can't really offer any help there on whether this bike would be hot between the legs, obviously in the summer months. But I did have the other Bonnevilles with the same or similar engine, the 1200 on the T120 in summer, and even in standing traffic I didn't really notice a heat issue between my legs. Obviously the bike's water cooled, it has fans that come on. Like most bikes, when you're sat in traffic you are going to get the temperature of the engine coming up towards the 100-degree mark and get some heat from it. So yeah, sorry, I can't offer any advice there. I'm not feeling any heat from the engine. The other negative that I find on the bike is when you're pushing on a little bit on this bike around bends and things, you do feel the rear end a little bit wallowy. So as I mentioned, we could do with upgrading the shocks on the rear. I'd rather pay a little bit extra money to Triumph if they came with the Öhlins shocks or gas shocks on the back of this bike. I think with it being the sporty model, they've obviously put for this year the upside down forks on, and obviously they're non-adjustable, but the front forks feel fine. It's just the back, I think, that lets it down a little bit. Weight wise, I think the bike's really flickable. It handles the road really well with the tyres that it's got on, the Metzlers. No issues there. Mirrors, yeah, I love the mirrors on the Triumph range, especially the bar end mirrors like we've got fitted on this bike. Somebody else mentioned the mud guards being quite small on this bike, especially at the front and the rear. Now you can get fender extenders. To be honest, they're no smaller than any other road bike that I'm riding and testing currently. Perhaps the rear is a little bit shorter, but it's actually quite nice that it's not got a big number plate bracket hanging out the end like most bikes. I do get a little bit of fling onto my back from road grime and mud on the road. So for me, to sum it up, I think on this bike it's not hit the mark just for me. Obviously I'm looking for a second bike to put in the garage, and because I'm so tall I need something a little bit more substantial. So it's now a toss-up between the T120. The T120 has cruise control, or the Scrambler XE that I borrowed, and I'll put a link just in the top right hand corner just here on the first video of that bike. Go and check that out. Really nice machine, real classic look, and yeah, I don't think you can beat it really for the money. Very good components on that bike, Öhlins rear shocks, and really nice, one of the best suspension setups on any road bike that I've found recently. So yeah, still undecided. I will test the Scrambler XC when it comes in a couple of weeks to see if that's a little bit better on height, because I did find that the XE was quite tall. In fact, I nearly dropped it once when just holding the bike up, but yeah, not made any decisions just yet. Other things coming up on the channel. Next week we've got the Triumph Tiger 900 Pro, and I'm looking to get that. That'll be a lovely bike to ride with the extra windscreen and the protection for winter, and it'll be good to get a comparison between that and the 850 Tiger Sport which we had during the summer. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and like ever, thanks for the subscribers that are on the channel, for your support. I do put a buy me a coffee link in the description these days. It all helps on the channel and the extra tank of fuel or even a coffee. We're just heading out to a coffee shop now actually, so thank you for last week's donations for the coffee. I'll be making good use of those. Stay tuned for videos coming up in the week, and yeah, we'll be back with some more videos on the MT10 SP and also the Triumph Tiger 900 Pro next weekend. So thanks again, have a great week whatever you're doing, and take care. Cheers, guys.